Hi everyone, this is Anil. In this video, we'll go through a book called Now Platform Reference Guide. So this is part of ServiceNow resources. So this is a page where you can see all the books. So you'll search by asset type as ebook and you'll see all the books, right? So here I'm going through a book called the Now Platform Reference Guide. So you see here, uh, so this is the book and it has all these contents, right? So there's an introduction section and then it talks about how do we ensure consistency and scalability and what features come as part of that, and then how do you create engaging experiences, and again what are the platform features that are part of that. And then we have this workforce productivity, how do we increase that using all these features. And then the next topic is the enterprise automation, and then embedded intelligence, providing trust and security, uh, and finally the platform for digital workflows, right? So these are the different topics which are covered in this book, and it talks about at high level the various platform features which support these topics. So the first section is uh, so in this book, as I mentioned, we examine the key capabilities of the Now platform, uh, which uh, which shows how to ensure consistency, create engaging experience, increase workforce productivity, accelerate enterprise automation, leverage embedded intelligence, and provide trust and security. So we'll start with the first piece, which is ensuring consistency and scalability. So as part of this, we have CMDB, uh, and it talks about how CMDB provides you a single system of record for all your IT infrastructure and digital services, and then it gives you a screenshot of CMDB Data Foundation's dashboard, and then it talks about CSTM. So first we look at the CMDB Data Foundation's dashboard in the platform. So I'm on my ServiceNow instance and look and search for CMDB data. So in order for us to see the dashboard, we have to install this plugin that was not installed. So that's where we're not able to see it. It is called sn underscore get well. So let's install this and then we can see the dashboard. So while that is getting installed, we'll review the next feature. So then it talks about CSTM and the different domains of CSTM, like the foundation, sell consume, customer service, managed technical services. And then it talks about knowledge management, uh, how it allows you to gather, analyze, store, and share knowledge and information within the organization. Uh, and it also talks about seamless Microsoft Word online integration with knowledge management. Uh, and then we talk about service catalog, right, and how it empowers your employees and customers with intuitive self-service from their devices like desktop and mobile device. Then it will show a screenshot of the service catalog category page from the portal. So next section talks about creating engaging experiences. So here we talk about conversational interfaces like chatbot, virtual agent, and how they leverage NLU to interpret user intent and allow users to create complete conversational flows. Right? So it talks about that. And then it talks about service portal, the employee center, which is part of your HR solution. And then it talks about CSM, customer service portal. And it talks about the next interface type, which is your mobile apps. It talks about no mobile, mobile agent, and then the platform functionality, which helps you to build these apps using this mobile app builder. And the next is user experience analytics. It helps you understand usage adoption of your ServiceNow web and mobile apps, right? So that you can continuously enhance user experience. Okay, the plugin is now installed. So let's start with the CMDB data foundations here. This one. So okay, so I have refreshed this dashboard now. I have run the scheduled data collection. That job ran, so I basically loaded data into all those indicators. And now you'll see some data in this dashboard now. So the first one talks about the best practices. I mean, again, I think it's not able to find anything for this one, this in this widget. But if you see the other ones like hardware CIs missing serial numbers, service missing owners, and then hardware CS missing serial numbers by key class, right? It is able to populate data in some of the widgets based on the collection it ran, and then it is trying to. So basically, this CMDB data foundations dashboard will try to present data under various tabs like best practices, customizations, uh, data management, best practices, and then ITSM process. So it should give you insights into how can you get well from where you are to where you want to be from that perspective, right? So this is about this dashboard. Then there's one more dashboard called CSTM uh, data foundations. So let's look at that. Yeah, the next dashboard is CSTM data foundations. So I'm running a job for that, for the data to refresh. So while we are waiting for that to happen, let's look at Employee Service Center, right? The next piece. Let's go to Employee Center. So this takes you to a service portal. It's called Service Portal with ESC as your portal name. So depending on the plugins you have installed, you'll see like different tabs here. The top section should be same, like my tasks, my requests, my favorites, and then your avatar and all that. Then if you have any guided tours, then they should come up here. And then you have all these links like, uh, you know, and this is a carousel which kind of shows different features. Like for example, time to set your goals, and then welcome to back office, like that. And then you have this how can we help, which is a search. And for example, if you search IT here, so this takes you to the knowledge base and catalog. And then you have all these quick links that are configured, popular topics, and then you have some videos which you can present on this, and then your applications, and then your active items here like tasks and all other stuff, and then quick tasks, upcoming events. So yeah, so that's your employee center. And let me just refresh this job here. So while this is loading, we'll look at another dashboard called User Experience Analytics. The purpose of this is to understand what is the consumption of different interfaces we have. So you can see the active users, the sessions, active sessions per user, and then application usage, right? So it talks about all this. So, uh, and then you can also see from next experience perspective how it is being used and so on. So you have a drop down here which will help you analyze like the different areas of the user experience that you can analyze. For example, next experience, App Engine Studio, all of this, right? So if you select App Engine Studio, then you can see like again active user sessions, all of that, and then the retention uh, information, and then top events, and then you also have the session information, the users, UL analysis, analytics, cohorts, and all those things, right? So yeah, it gives you a very in-depth analysis of user experience. Okay. Let's try one more. So let's try this network inventory workspace maybe. Yeah, so you can see there's one active user, 2 sessions, and 8 pages. And then what are the search events I've performed, all of that. So yeah. And then if you want to look at the first session, for example, right? Uh, so basically you can drill down into each of these pieces and then analyze further more. So, and it's telling you from which device it is done, all of that, right? So yeah, that's pretty detailed from that perspective. Like it's telling me from which location I've done, even though the location is not quite accurate, but that's that. Yeah, okay, awesome. So that's about that. So let's come back here, refresh the job status. Okay, this is still collecting. Let's give it some more time. So coming back to portals, we'll look at CSM portal. Yeah. So this portal has a suffix of CSM, right? Trying to load that. So as you can see here, it gives you access to your knowledge articles, your requests, my lists, again, cases, orders, support, tours, and then you have this links to knowledge, get help and request something, and yeah. So I think out of the box, it's a pretty basic portal which gives you information to what you need, and then you can always improve this based on the use case. The primary personas for this would be your B2B users, your customers, right? Whereas the employee center was mainly focused for your employees. The next area is increasing workforce productivity. So here we have like the functionality which helps us boost service delivery. Right? The first one is SLM, service level management. Again, the primary goal is to boost customer satisfaction, ahead of service issues, improve relationships, and enhance service delivery performance. So here we have, so we're talking about this functionality here, service level management, and how we configure SLA definitions and all of that, right? So there is a dashboard again, which gives you like a overview of your how you're performing from SLA perspective, right? So what are my risk SLAs, my breached SLAs, active SLAs, and so on, right? So you have different ways to review this data, like you can group by on stage and then SLA definition, all of that. Yeah. So that is about this piece here. And then if you look at overview of this one, so it takes you to the dashboard. And then if you look at SLA definitions, it should tell you like what are all the definitions which are configured. And then you have this condition rules, which should tell you like for default, for issue resolution, for simple, for case type, for escalation, like what are different SLA conditions which are defined. And then you have SLA timer configuration, then various properties like for SLA engine, logging and repair, right? All this. So yeah, that's about your SLAs. Coming back. So next is the workspaces. So the idea of workspace is to give you like a single UI so that you don't have to keep switching the context. So it integrates with communication channels, provides agent assist, major incident identification, seamless chat handoff, all of that features, right? So we look at this workspace here, hardware asset management, hardware asset workspace. So let's look at that. So this is the plugin for this one. SN underscore item underscore workspace. So let's look for asset management. Let's look at this one. We'll also look at, let's see if we can go to the application to see what is part of this. Also try to look at the the plugin files to see what gets installed. Yeah, so this is the workspace, I believe, asset executive workspace. Okay, so this is the workspace. So I was able to navigate under this one, like asset, and then the name of the workspace is asset workspace, but it shows us the label is asset hardware asset overview, right? So here it talks about important actions, like uh, under each of these cards, and then asset requests, transfer orders, stock orders, asset count by model category, asset value by model category, overall performance, assets eligible for refresh by model category. So all this information is available here. And if you try to look for the actions that you have to take, fill in missing model number. So it should take you to all the assets which have the model number missing, right? So, okay, so it's taken to the models, right? It says 6 models are missing model number. Add this information to improve for improved model data accuracy. Yeah, so it's basically taking us to all this model records, right? The table name is CMDB underscore model, and then it is telling us the ones which have missing model number, right? Yeah, that's about this hardware asset overview. Next, we'll move on to playbook experience. Uh, so the purpose of playbook is to guide the users through common business practices. Like for example, if you have a well-defined business process and and then you want to give like an intuitive step-by-step interface, then you use playbook experience for that. Right? So each playbook experience gives users a list of process steps and track completion of the steps, like so that yeah, you don't the user doesn't have to figure out what they have to do next, but they can just follow a guided way of completing a process. So that's about that. So let's look at this example here. So there is a module called Playbook Workspace Demo. So let's look at this demo, right? For incident, let's just launch Playbook and see how it works. So here we have incident response demo, and so if you see here, provide incident details. That's the first step, right? So so there are 4 stages in this: identification, logging, resolve, and closure. So let's click on continue here in the step, and then you can see how this lock button gets locked until you complete the first step, right? So we did the first step now, and then we have this pending. So we keep progressing each step, and then it should yeah, take us through this, right? So we first provide the incident details. Now we have to confirm contact details, like select contact type as and save the changes. Like I have to select, let's say phone update, and then it says the task is completed. Then let's do the next step, short description, market is complete. And then similarly, you have the next step, which is review existing incidents for callers. So these are all available. So yeah, we'll just either you can open the list or make a market as complete. So that's about the identification step, right? And then similarly for logging, again, now it unlocks logging and it tells you like how do you categorize this incident. So inquiry help on antivirus, so you update it. And then how do you prioritize it? You can skip it if you want, right? Or you can change the priority, right? You skip it for now. And then you review the SLAs that are attached to it. So nothing is attached. I think you're okay here. So logging is complete now. Next is the resolve piece. So how do you resolve this incident? So there's a knowledge article which will help you with steps on how to resolve it. So you can go through that and you know complete this, right? So again, this is a workspace, so you don't have to switch any context. It shows in the same workspace window, right, as a new tab. So you can go through the article and then you can take the next steps. Come back here, and mark it as complete. And then you have a way to escalate it if you want, like you can create an incident task and you can escalate it. So that's mentioned here. Save it. So in the backend, it will go and create an incident task, right? And then just you communicate to your caller, right? That you have done this work or the issue is resolved. And then finally the closure piece. So that should get unlocked now automatically. So there's a checklist that's coming in here. So here you have, so we want to ask the user like all of these, like, thank you for your patience. Has your issue been resolved? Is there anything else I can help you with? Like, so let's select, has your issue been resolved? And yeah, so we'll wait for it to respond. So yeah, just okay, select this as well. Uh, so once I do that, then that does complete the checklist part, right? So, yeah, so basically we are telling the agent that they have to like provide that inputs to the user, all those three, right? And then in the resolution step, you're telling like what you have done. Is it through the resolution notes and the resolution code, right? Provide a workaround, and then you'll resolve it. So basically here we have provided like a guided experience to user, the agent, in terms of how to solve this type of incident, right? So we have all this, yeah. So that's about this one here. That's about Playbook experience, and the next we have reports and dashboards. We already have seen a couple of dashboards, right? So yeah, but again, it talks about the capability that is available, all of that. And next is skill management. So the idea here is having the right people with right skills at right places in your organization is critical for success. So again, with skill management, a core capability of platform, your organization can create an accurate, up-to-date view of skills, identify skill gaps, all of that. Again, you can use this in conjunction with AWA, which is automated work assignment. So you can assign work to individual employees based on matching skill types and levels and size of the skill gap, right? That's that. Next is workforce optimization. It lets service desk managers develop high performing teams by optimizing schedules and work assignments. Again, it leverages the skill-based routing powered by AWA. So let's look at this feature here. So we'll come to workforce optimization in a minute. Now the CSTM dashboard is, the data collection is complete. So we can look at this dashboard. So let's go to history and look for dashboards and find CSTM there. Again, the main purpose of CSTM dashboard is to give you like a step-by-step status of where you stand in terms of your CSTM journey. So when you implement CSTM, like because it has these various domains and there are different elements in each domain, you want to do it one step at a time, right? So like you start by getting all the foundation right, and then you want to like crawl, walk, run and fly, like the 4 stages. So it talks about in each phase, what are the different elements you want to enable, and then where you stand at each phase. That's the idea of this CSTM dashboard. As you can see here, it provides you this foundation indicators, like where you stand with each of them. For example, as part of foundation, you have this location, you have business units, product models, and then some of the customization statuses that you have done for CIs, right? So it shows all of them. So as you can see, for example, it says location without parents of 48, and then product model without product owner is 894, and so on, right? And then next it shows under crawl, again, the different widgets. So it talks about app services to business app relationship, and then app service is missing business apps, and then business apps missing app service, all that. And then if you go under walk, again, it shows you as part of walk phase what you want to implement and where you stand, right? For example, technical service offerings is something which you implement as part of walk phase, and so it shows you all that. And then under run, again, it shows you uh, services using custom CMDB tables, and then app services, all of that, business service offerings. Then finally, under fly, it will show you the information object, and then information object to app services, and then catalog request items to service offerings, all of that. Right? So yeah, so basically, again, as I mentioned, it shows you under each phase of the CSDM journey, like where you stand and how you can complete that phase before you can move to the next phase. So I'll come back to workforce optimization in a minute once the plugin loads, and I will move on. Next is accelerating enterprise automation. Again, this is a very powerful area in the place where ServiceNow is very, very focused in terms of how the platform can be used to bring this whole enterprise automation into the platform, right? So Flow Designer is the first piece. It talks about how you can automate a lot of stuff within the platform, integrate with the external pieces outside the platform. So Flow Designer, right? So if you go back in the platform, let's search for Flow Designer. So you can see under process automation, we have Flow Designer. So if I look at this one here, this is basically doing the work of loading some data into the platform. So it's executing a simple schedule job, right? And this is one of the simple use cases, but again, the power of Flow Designer is limitless. So, okay, all right, that is about. The next we have Process Automation Designer. So again, we have seen that in use, but this is the backend configuration in terms of how it works. So we can look at the configuration for the incident use case that we have seen. So let's see that. Process Automation Designer. Okay, so we look at this incident response demo. So we have seen the 4 stages like identification, logging, resolve, and closure. So again, here you have like first step is configure, confirm contact details, gather information. Let me zoom out a little bit so you can see all this. And then you have review existing incidents for the caller. And in logging, you have categorize and prioritizing. Then you have critical incident warning, review SLAs, all of that. And then in resolve, you have the knowledge article, which you can use to resolve, and then create incident task if you want to escalate, and communicate resolution. And then there's a checklist and closure, and then resolution, right? So all these. And then if you want to see the optional tasks, also you can see that here, optional activities, right? So that is about the process automation designer. And again, it's very powerful, very useful feature in the platform. The next is integration hub. Again, this is an extension of the whole, some of the flow designer actions and all of that, right? So if you want to bring data into ServiceNow through any of these methods like REST, SOAP, and all another 50 types, as you can see here, then you can use this. Uh, so, so just quickly go through that integration hub. So here you have this integration hub where you have action designer and all that pieces. Let's open that here. So basically the action designer takes you to the flow designer action page where you can design the action, and then you have a lot of other pieces as part of this, like for example, connection and credentials, connections dashboard, retry policies, and then authentication algorithms, right? And then so if you minimize this, then you have this REST integrations, then SOAP integrations, and then remote processing. Uh, yeah, all these are part of this, right? So this talks about how do you sync between two systems, like processing definitions, all of that, and then how do you manage the queue, like inbound queue, outbound queue, all of that. Yeah. So here we are seeing this connections, like dashboard for Flow Designer, where you can see all the different connections which are available. Like for example, if you see this one here, CMDB relationships, you can see the connection details like the name and the endpoint, all of that, right? And similarly, if you want to go to edit, then you can edit that connection, or if you want to advanced setup, you can do that as well. Right? And then, as I mentioned, if you like, if you go to Action Designer from the integration hub, it will take you to the section here where you can design the actions. And then the next is a processing definition. Again, the idea of this is to does a simple like it fills a form basically on a online site. So that's here. And coming to the next feature, which is the advanced work assignment. Uh, so, so as part of this advanced work assignment, you can create service channels, queues, assignment rules, present states, reject reasons, and then agent presence and capacity, universal capacity, all this stuff, right? So yeah, that's part of this functionality here. Again, it's heavily used in like FSM, CSM, all those spaces. Right? Next is the intelligence feature of the platform, like for example, machine learning, where you have these different frameworks like the classification framework, which is used to predict value of a record field based on value of other fields, right? Uh, so priority based on its description and similarity, for example, uh, to push similar historic incidents and cases pertaining to knowledge articles to workspaces. And then regression framework, it will forecast future numeric values based on historic numeric data, like for example, SLA compliance. And then clustering framework, where it clusters groups of records based on their similarity. For example, it uses uh, this framework to identify potential major incidents based on large number of similar incidents. Right? Again, this is part of the predictive intelligence capability, which is available out of the box. And then next is the NLU capability. So we'll see this in action in the Analytics Center. So if you go to Performance Analytics Hub and pick up any indicator here. Okay, so we are on a workspace. From here, we'll navigate to Analytics Center. Here you can see like how this natural language query comes into play. You start typing INC, it will give you like the matching like indicators, right? You can also say incidents, backlog, and then it will show incident and case backlog, all of that, right? So, and next is the performance analytics. Okay, so again, amazing functionality. Has been there in the platform for quite some time, but they keep adding more and more dashboards depending on the new applications that get added, and so on, right? So, yeah, and then the spotlight is again a beautiful feature which will help teams focus on what is priority. All of that. So, next is process optimizations. Personal dev. So that is that. But yeah, so this is again a great feature where you can see where are the process gaps and how do you optimize the process, all of that. The next is providing trust and security, data encryption. So it talks about what is the data and database encryption levels, and then what is the compliance levels we have, and then privacy and access controls, like ACLs and so on. So yeah, so basically it's a good reference guide if you want to get a holistic summary of what is offered in the platform. And finally, like this closing slide which says the platform for digital business. And then it talks about one platform, one data model, one architecture, and then how it connects technology, customer, employee, and creator workflows. And then it talks about the various pieces that we have seen, like intelligence, productivity, consistency, scalability, engagement, automation, security. Right? Thank you for watching. This is Anand.